Some people will ruin your life if you let them. If you don't learn to cut ties with certain people in your life, whether that be old relationships or friends that no longer benefit you, you'll see that you'll become the type of person that you chill with the most, whether that be somebody that does drugs or engages in self gratification constantly, or doesn't have as much money or financial independence as much as they would want. Today, I want to talk about cutting ties with those that no longer benefit you. And I think this can come up as quite a sensitive topic for most people because this doesn't just have to necessarily mean relationships. You might see all the content out there that goes, well, yeah, if you're in a toxic relation, cut ties with them. And we will talk about that. But when it comes more controversial is when it comes with your parents and your family members. And so, for example, with myself, I've had difficulties with family members not being the best for me. And so I've had to take a step back for them and I've had to, in a way, cut ties with them in the best way that I can. And I think cutting ties doesn't necessarily just have to mean, well, you're going to completely cut them off. Because sometimes that's just not possible. You have responsibilities, you have family members that need to be looked after. And quite frankly, if you're a decent person, you're not going to want to cut them off immediately. So, what cutting ties could mean in certain different scenarios is simply giving yourself space between you and that person, protecting your energy, protecting your happiness. And when we say protecting your energy, it sounds like that whole pseudoscience fucking astrology shit. But protecting your energy is so much more important than you think. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and you've come back more tired than you came or than you went into the conversation, as if it was some sort of mental task? But then have you, on the other flip side of it, spoken to somebody and feel like you've been re-energized? That actually exists. That stuff is real. Whenever you are around people that take your energy, that don't benefit you, you start to see that you become less productive in life. You stop trying to achieve certain things within your life, such as your goals, your aspirations, or your dreams. And as a result, you don't become the type of person that you always dreamed and wished to be, simply because there's a useless person in your life. And I think it's a lot more difficult in terms of maybe relationships. It kind of depends. It depends on what type of person you are. If you're more family orientated, you'll struggle with the family side of this. If you're more relationship orientated, you want to build a family, you want to, grow your own kingdom, you might struggle with the more relationship side of this. But in terms of the relationship, are you with somebody that uses you constantly, that manipulates you constantly, that makes you feel bad or wrong for doing things or being who you are? Really think about it. Don't just tell yourself, that the person's not good for you simply because you don't like one or two things about them. Remember, we are different people, and the way we interact with other people means that there's supposed to be a little bit of a clash. You're supposed to learn how somebody is and kind of cater and work with them in becoming a unit. But if that person is constantly draining you, you've tried to speak to them, you've tried to understand them, you tried to, put yourself in a position to grow with them and they're still not growing with you, then it might be possible that you need to cut ties with them. Are they helping you towards your goals, or are they slowing you down? Are they getting you involved in habits in which you wouldn't want to necessarily if you were by yourself? Are they making you become a part of yourself that you don't necessarily agree with? Cut ties with them. And that doesn't just mean with maybe the relationships or the family side. This also goes for your friends. One thing that my grandma always told me was, mind the company that you keep, because the company that you keep is the person that you become. Who are you becoming by hanging around with those people? If those are the type of people that maybe drink alcohol quite a bit and smoke a bit, which I'm saying there's nothing wrong with those things, those are completely fine. But if it doesn't align with where you want to go, where you see yourself in 3 to 5 years, you should cut ties with them. Do they make you feel like shit? Do they make you feel like crap? Do they make you feel like you're not worthy of being a basic human? Do they make you feel like an outsider to the group? Do they make you feel like a second option all the time? I think the thing that I struggled with the most was feeling like a second option in every single one of my relationships. That would be intimate relationships, familial relationships, and friend relationships, all parts of my social life. All parts of my social life, I felt like a second option. But once I took a step back and I started to say, no, I'm not going to be treated like a second option. I'm going to treat myself like the first option. I decided to take step backs from certain relationship. I would protect my energy, say no a lot more, move away from being spoken to in a type of way in which I don't like or respect. Then First of all, more people came into my life because they started to see that I respected myself a whole lot more. But the people that were already in my life, not showing me that respect, began to show it more because they saw that I weren't beginning to tolerate how they were treating me. And thus, the only way to get into my life was to treat me with respect. Don't ever let anybody take you for an idiot. If somebody's not respecting you, or if somebody's not helping you get towards your goals, or if somebody's not supporting you in the way in which you would be supported, and you've communicated it consistently, take a step back. Because one of the biggest self-growth, I guess, tips or advices that you can get out there is you are the person that you hang around with. You become that type of person. And if you're not hanging around the people that support you, you're going to become the seventh person that's not supported. And it's a perpetuating cycle that does not end itself.